You're welcome back to Afia TV News tonight. Our conversation centered around the division among governors over tax reform bill. Now, according to reports, there's a strong indication that the 36 state governors under the aegis of Nigeria Governors Forum are sharply divided over the tax reform bills pending before the Senate and the House of Representatives for consideration as forwarded by President Tinubu. Recall that the governors have for weeks been confronted with the tax reform bills, just as the bills have been engulfed in controversy, criticisms, and stiff opposition from many quarters. The northern 19 governors had also rejected sections of the bills as they called for its withdrawal from the National Assembly to allow for further consultations. The National Economic Council, NEC, chaired by the Vice President and composed of the 36 governors and some ministers, had earlier rejected the bills. Meanwhile, it was gathered that the governors who attended the meeting could not reach an official agreement on the controversial tax reform bills. To discuss further on this issue and so much more is Onyedika Agbo, and he's a social commentator and, of course, a youth development expert. Good evening, Mr. Onyedika, and welcome to Afia TV News tonight.
Yeah, good evening, amazing Grace.
Great. So even the critics of the Tinubu's administration have admitted the fact that if this bill sails through, it may very well be one good policy among other good ones. But to the layman who have not been able to read, because we know we have a reading, we don't have much of a reading culture in Nigeria, and probably understand the bill, give us just a brief summary of it.
Okay, just like you rightly put, amazing Grace, the challenges I feel that most of the people that are kicking against this bill, whether they are in the Senate, governors, or members of any regional leadership sect, is because they have not properly dissected the bill and understood its intricacies. Because from all ramifications, this is a bill that is supposed to, for the first time in a very long time in Nigeria, factor in the welfare of the poor, removing taxation from people who are still growing, even to up to the tune of over tens of millions, which is surprising. And then again, the sharing formula from the federal states to the local government, which has also been retouched, is actually aimed at helping the subsidiaries of the federal government become more active. There have been arguments of the VAT being shared at the headquarters. There have been arguments of those who are receiving initially out of population being reduced by a particular percentage. I don't see, because most of the time, people who have been interested in these tax reform bills are waiting to hear that actual argument that those who are opposing it are bringing up to the public podium to say, okay, well, is this the point? Again, most of the times, these supposedly leaders who will come and post that they are fighting for regions, they are fighting for their people, are actually fighting for their pockets. Because if you have a reform that is supposed to make you to go back to your home and do a homework to activate the resources, both naturally, human resources and otherwise, within your state and environment. I don't think there's anything that should be making anybody to be angry at that. So I still have not found. I've seen videos, I've seen arguments, I've only seen banter. I haven't really seen any substantive argument for any regional dissenting voice to say this is why we are kicking against it. And until such argument is presented, it's just a sentimental fight.
Right, because a lot of people have been asking the question, especially with the uproar from the northern governors, 19 of them disagreeing with the bill, and we're asking, what's so much to panic about? Except that maybe some of our leaders or politicians have a lot to hide, have a lot of skeletons in their cupboard, and then this is maybe probably going to expose a lot of things. Because when these people are campaigning, politicking, they keep saying, we want to work for the general good of the people. And then when there's a policy that will be for the good of the people, they try to stand in the way. Now, we're asking one question as Nigerians. Is this grouse, of course, strong enough to stand in the way of the nation's collective prosperity, especially from the north this time around?
You know, we've actually had these conversations and sort of virtual town hall. I was particularly happy when an expert in taxation and other economic fields joined us in a virtual meeting where some members of the North actually participated. Surprising, amazing grace.
Mhm.
Majority of the people that joined us from the North who have also not really read the bill, some of them were educated because of the way they were sounding, were shocked to get some of the revelations that the experts exposed in that meeting. And they were telling them it is high time Nigerians know who their leaders truly are. Because
Mhm.
sometimes your leader can come and tell you, oh, this. Yeah, the person was asking them, here in the north, there are growing businesses. Won't you want taxation to be eased off your shoulders so that you can grow? He started reading out things. In fact, he traced the bill to the first time it was conceptualized to when it was reformed. And he pointed out that the only state that should be worried is Lagos. Unfortunately, Lagos is even the state that is giving its all boost because a lot will be taken away from Lagos, where the headquarters of most of these multinational companies will no longer share VAT and some other proceeds at the headquarters. You have to domesticate it at the states where you generate these incomes. And again, even Rivers State, which supposedly is earning more, but because there's a way their own VAT and taxation goes, they were also not complaining. So, except any person comes up tomorrow, which I'm equally interested in getting to know, to say publicly, oh, this is why we heard how the governors meeting went, they were mute, people couldn't, because this is the first time they are going to disagree on those who will be on the side of the people and those who actually, like you rightly said, have something to hide. Because if you don't, and I want to also commend the person of the president. He has not been cowed into any sort of saying, oh, we're going to withdraw the bill. He summoned the governors of his own state, of his own party, APC governors, and told them, this will ease up in all the hardship we have inflicted upon these people. So you must have to support it. And if you don't have anything to hide, please come up and tell Nigerians. This is why, because this is for the first time, the North will actually know whether their leaders are actually usually fighting for them, or they just use that regional sentiment to whoop up some sort of agitation. Because we haven't seen this conversation will be on for a very long time, and I'm
Mhm.
sure that nothing any region, any person does will kill the passage of this bill into law.
Exactly. The conversation will be up for a long time. And truly, if every region contributes to the growth of Nigeria as it should be, then no region should be afraid of this particular bill. Well, we'll keep that conversation coming right here. And for the governors who are disagreeing over this bill, our eyes are on them. And we hope to know the resolution as soon as possible. But thank you so much, Onyedika Agbo, for showing up tonight on the news tonight. Thank you so much.
You're welcome, Amazing Grace.
That's all we have for you right here on Afia TV News, and we streamed live from Enugu, Nigeria. And on behalf of the entire production team, I am Amazing Grace Ajayi. Thank you so much for watching, and good night.